Okay, hello everyone. Today we'll be talking about wire and wireless networking. So let me start with pros and cons first. Well, sometimes the points are too much of a common sense point, but I'll go through them with proper descriptions and examples. Well, wireless networking. So it's basically easier to expand networks, and it is not necessary to connect devices using cables. Well, this is common sense, as long as there is no limit to the number of devices that can route or connect. It's basically adding in your password and credentials to log into a network. Another funny example. So all of us take our smartphones into our toilet. Imagine if we had to connect our smartphones to wire to access the internet. Would that be possible? No. So it increases the mobility. As long as it lies in the range, but at the same time, this is also disadvantageous as there will be interference from the external sources. So I'll tell you what, lots of devices today have 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz, two of the frequency that our router outputs from the devices. 2.4 suffers less issues of interference, whereas 5 gigahertz suffers more issues of interference. So, but at the same time, 2.4 gigahertz is limited in terms of data transfer. The speeds are lower, but 5 gigahertz has high data transfer rates. So if you're close to the router and you need a very fast, stable internet, 5 gigahertz is your option. But at the same time, if you're far away from the router, your room, you like to close your door and work in and put in your work, 2.4 gigahertz would be a better choice to do your work. So it suffers attenuation and interference from walls, doors, etc. Also, if it's wireless, there is always a risk of hacking. So data is less secure with wires. Is less secure than with the wired systems. So it's easier to intercept radio waves and microwaves than cables. So data protection must require various encryption methods such as WPA2, WEP. And usually, since it has problems of attenuation and interference, data transmission rate is slower. That's why proper gamers always utilize the RJ45 port or Ethernet protocol. Signals can be stopped by thick walls. So I've already talked about this point. Now, if I had to talk about wired networking, so it's the most reliable and stable network. No wonder, as long as you have a chance or you have the I don't know, hardware connections that can facilitate wired networking, it's always a wiser decision to use it because it's very stable and reliable. It also, data transfer rates are very fast. It tends to cheaper also, because routers are expensive, but wires, they're usually cheaper. But at the same time, devices lose the characteristic that they are mobile. So you can't go and travel with your device connected to all over the places with wire connected to it. Also, another very common sense point, that wires can lead to tripping hazards. So you could fall down, you could get stuck in a wire and fall down. So it must be very careful. You must be very careful whenever using wires, and it also can pose potential fire risk. So cleaning and all must involve a good amount of safety if you are around wires and all. So this is about the wired and wireless networking. Okay, so basically two methods of wireless communication that is very what do I say, popular or used by the users all over the world is Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So although Bluetooth is not as rampant as it was in early 2000s, we still utilize it to connect our audio devices, our smartwatches and all. So basically, Bluetooth has 27 different frequency band, right? And they all are centered around 2.45 gigahertz area. So 2.4 is for the Wi-Fi, whereas 2.45 is around these bands. So 2.45, 6, 4, 5, 7, etc., are all the Bluetooth bands. It has lots of options, and whenever two devices are on the same band, they can connect. This is known as spread spectrum frequency hopping. So this reduces the interference from other devices. Bluetooth creates a secure wireless personal area network based on key encryption, right? So it's useful when you're transferring data between two or more devices which are less than 30 meters apart. So it must be really close. So it's very good for smartwatches, as phones are usually in your pocket. The distance from wrist to your let's say thigh or your internal chest pockets is of course less than a meter. Also for Bluetooth speakers, Bluetooth or any audio devices, it's usually recommended that these devices lie within 10 meters of the distance. And we also consider when the speed of data transmission is not critical. So a music or audio file is generally 3 to 5 MB if it's compressed. But we don't need to transfer 3.5 MB of data within a second, right? This 3 to 5 MB must be transferred within 3 to 5 minutes of duration. So speed of speed of data transfer is not critical here. So sending music files, sending pictures, where low bandwidth is useful. So low bandwidth usually has lower data transfer speeds. So Bluetooth shines in these applications. So now we will talk about Wi-Fi, another rampant frequency that is utilized by most of the devices all around the world. Okay, so let's talk about Wi-Fi. Well, Wi-Fi also uses a spread spectrum technology, but Wi-Fi is best suited to operate full-scale networks because it offers us a chance to a much faster data transfer rates, and the range of Wi-Fi is way larger than Bluetooth, and it also offers better security protocols in our data transfer. A Wi-Fi enabled device could access the internet wirelessly with any WAP or hotspot up to 100 meters away. And I would also like you to explain or expand upon the frequency and wavelength thing. So you see, the lower the frequency, the further it can travel, but the less speed it will have. So radio waves, so basically whenever you're tuning in the radio, the quality is not so good. But given that its frequency is very lowest, it can travel because frequency and wavelength are inversely proportional. So lower frequency means longer wavelength. So they can travel further distances compared to waves with high frequency, right? So microwaves, so all our Wi-Fi, Bluetooth all lie in the spectrum of microwaves, and these are the balanced type of a wave where the data transfer rate is high, the frequency is also good. So what I recommend is try turning on the microwave, not the convention, the microwave itself, and try using the phone. You will not get access to the internet, or your internet will be very unstable. This is because your microwaves will be interfering with your Wi-Fi network. So they're usually in the same range, so they will interfere with the mobile network. So this is it about the Wi-Fi. It has a larger connection, it has better encryption protocols, it has more devices can be connected in a Wi-Fi. So these are the advantages Wi-Fi has over Bluetooth. So yeah, this is it all about Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, wired and wireless networking. Now our next video will be about studying each of the hardware devices. See you soon in the next video. For now, stay tuned. Bye bye.